Hello and welcome to the Diversity Saves Community Showcase. If you are tuning in for the first time, Diversity Saves is a 501c3 nonprofit organization made up of passionate TTRPG creators, actors, and fans from marginalized communities who wanted to create a means to amplify voices not only in the community, but in the works we consume across the industry. You can always learn more and see what we're up to at diversitysaves.org. There's a reason he's here. Today's showcase features Sarah, Eli, and Danny from Streaming Rainbow. We talked about a variety of things, including their community-first approach to their content, various collaborations, and finding yourself through your characters. I have to say, not only are they super talented and kind people, but they are patient as heck. About 30 minutes into recording this, my beautiful, handsome, ferocious menace of a fur baby turned off my camera. Not just my camera. I don't want to re-record this. Turned off my whole computer. Luckily, I was able to recover the footage, but you will see where we had to start again. And then Hank was locked away. Remember that if you have a project you would like us to feature on a showcase, visit diversitysaves.org or click the link in the video description.
Hi, I'm Serafina Smith, and you can find me at Streaming Rainbow, of course, because that's who we are. Lovely to meet you.
Hey everybody, it's me, Eli Galliher, they, them pronouns. You can find me on Streaming Rainbow because that's where we all are. We love it. But if you want to find me other places, I'm Eli, the Comfort Dragon on Instagram, and Eli Galliher everywhere else. Yay!
Hey everybody, I am Danny Mendoza, he, him. I can be found all over the internet as Danny R. Mendoza. Blue Sky is a good place to look for me. And I'm the newest team member here at Streaming Rainbow. Super stoked to talk to you all about our work today.
All right. Thank you all for joining us. I am very excited for this conversation as I've been catching up on your work. I'm falling in love. It is it's awesome. But we're going to start off with an icebreaker question. So for each one of you, what is your favorite game system that you've played or a system that you have on your to-do list that you're excited to try?
Who's first? I said something. I guess it's me first.
It is.
Yep. I broke the ice, literally. Okay. So at the beginning of the year, Danny's introduction to Streaming Rainbow was doing 5 one-shots in a row, and background games, and it was so much fun, and I love that like style of cartoonishness and wackiness. So I want to do much more with Hell of a Town.
I love that.
Yeah, Hell of a Time was a lot of fun. I will say for stuff that we have coming up, this will be something we'll get into more later, but there are a couple more iterations of that 5-system format that we have planned with Overlap for Pride, and I'm really excited for a bunch of them. So that means, in essence, in those same, like, I think overlapping 7 or 8 weeks, you're going to see me running no less than 10 different systems on our programming, and I'm really excited for all of them. I kind of don't want to pick a favorite, but I will say I've wanted to try Monster Hearts for a long time. Yes. That's one of the ones from one of the lists, and on the other one, Under Hollow Hills is another one that I've wanted to play for a very long time.
Oh, I don't think I've heard of that one.
Highly recommend checking it out. Also from the Bakers, very good stuff. Not the other one's Alder, but what I mean is that it is also from the Bakers, and we're looking at doing stuff with Apocalypse World and other things that we've done, because we're very into PBTA stuff and doing a little bit of a historical dive through a lot of what got us to where we are now with that movement.
Oh, I love that. All right, Serafina, your turn.
Yeah. Thinking about something I'm excited to try. next year I'm doing a show that is going to use Lancer, and so Lancer is much crunchier than I usually go. So I am both excited and a little trepidatious to learn it and figure it out.
I was cast for a show doing Lancer, and so but then like weeks later it was canceled. So I only got to like crack the book open, and I very much want to go back to that. It looks, it just your little mech heart dreams. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's start off with a quick elevator pitch for those who are just learning about your network community. I don't just want to call you a channel, and we'll get into why. So, what is Streaming Rainbow? Sort of how did it begin, and who came up with the brilliant name? Because I love it so much.
Go on, Eli.
So the brilliant name was brought up by our very good friend David, who was one of our founders. He has taken a step back. Adore him very much. He's taken a step back because life is lifing, and that's how it goes. But yeah, we all came together to have a conversation, and then I had a really stupid name, and then David said, "What about Streaming Rainbow?" And we all went, "There it is."
Yep.
That's it. That's the thing. But elevator pitch. We are a group of very nerdy storytellers who are very passionate about telling stories, and we want to share that love with the universe. So come join us.
Yeah, and how did each of you get involved?
Eli drug me into it, just kicking and screaming.
What? Sarah, you talk. I didn't drag. So this is my favorite story to tell because this all started because of a Facebook post, which was a request to play an Unsleeping City game for 20 fans. And I said, "Oh no, that sounds like such a cool idea. I wish I had time to GM it." And then I made the time. So the original founders were all players at that table. I loved them very much, and I said, "Hey, this is a cool, like, we all tell good stories. Do you want to do this together?" And then we did. And then Danny can talk about how he got dragged in, because we did drag him,
Not
kicking and
dragged
screaming.
and not
sure.
kicking and screaming. Very grateful. So I got to be on a Pride fundraiser last June at the channel, and everybody was very welcoming. I got a great impression of the whole community right away. I was really excited to do more stuff, and everybody was super welcoming. So I got to be on a really great show called Olympus, run by another one of the founders, Bastian, and also featuring Sarah here, who did brilliant work. Well worth checking out what Sarah did in the show. And spoiler, Eli did a guest on the 9th episode that was also fantastic. So I got to be a part of that. And then Eli invited me into Hell, our ongoing Inferno campaign, Inferno from Acheron Games. It's an overlay of 5e that Eli has a rotating cast playing the same 4 characters. It's like a creative relay race. And I got to jump into the 4th canto, so the 4th cast of that, where I was able to play the Serpent, which in that system, that's the rogue character. It was so much fun. I highly recommend checking it out. Canto 5 is going on right now. So anyway, I got to do those things primarily, right? Some other stuff too. And then I was brought on as a member of the team at the beginning of this year, with the first thing connected to that being the 5 system format that we were talking about. It was an overview of different games that I think are very influential that I really wanted to bring to the table. We want to, as part of our community engagement stuff, we want to help encourage through modeling and through creating direct opportunities, more people playing more game systems. So we got to play, interesting stuff that's a little bit more niche, like what Eli mentioned before with Helvetown, which is also from Acheron Games. But we played For the Queen in there. We played, we didn't end up playing Wonderhome, but we did play Yazibas. We played 10 Candles, and we played Stew Pot. And it was great. It was a lot of fun. And actually, both Eli and Sarah were there with Bastion, so it was an all founders table. And another sort of founder alum, Courtney, was in the For the Queen with us, which was the first of those episodes. So that's how I got into it. And now we're doing a million things together, and I couldn't be happier.
I love that. Very reminiscent of how I joined Diversity Saves, as I did a fundraiser on my own channel, which was kind of just a little failed channel because I didn't really want to do things on my own. I much prefer the community. And I did a fundraiser because I'm friends with the original founders, and they're like, maybe you should come in and do this. And I'm like, yes. So that's pretty great. All right. So how have your experiences in the TTRPG shaped how you sort of founded and run Streaming Rainbow?
I've been talking too much. Somebody else say something.
No, come on now, Eli. You're so good at it. I'm the new
I am
kid.
so
So I'm
good
always
at it.
going to go like second with those questions.
No, it's not going to be me.
It's not going to be Sarah. Sarah is, I've been saying this since before Streaming Rainbow, but Sarah is my Galadriel. She is my ancient one who knows everything and must be respected. And it's very important. No, for us, or for me at least, the big thing has been, like I said, we're very passionate about telling stories. And what that means for me is everybody's stories. So it is not it's a well-known fact that there's a lot of white men in this world, in this thing. So we're striving very much to make sure that we're focusing on diversity and reaching out to much more to hear many more stories, because it's important. It's important for the less known communities to have a voice, especially in these times. So I think that's the biggest thing. Yeah, I think so. I think that answered the question.
It does, and it is much appreciated. Believe me, this is a thing that we align on, and both have seen and been working to sort of replace, not really replace, just make the table bigger. And that's what that's what I love. All right, so a lot of times we look at content creators and actual play channels as content first, community after. But Streaming Rainbow is the opposite. Quoting what Danny told me earlier, Streaming Rainbow is a community first who then makes APs and educational videos as expressions of that community. This is where my gay Ouroboros joke comes in, but I told you I was not going to land it because it really does feel like a little queer Ouroboros, where we start with community. We make content to bring in more members, and it's just, I love it. But I told you I wasn't going to land the joke. This feels like and I'm sure there's a better non-capitalist word for it, but strategy for long-term growth and stability. Can you tell us about what influenced this approach to community, and what are some of your community goals and values, which I know we've discussed a little bit, but to expand on it?
I mean, like, strategy is wild because sometimes you fall into it without meaning to.
Exactly.
And that's 100%. It's an unplanned strategy, which honestly, if that's not my life, I don't know what is.
Same.
No, it's like all of us here are adults who are very aware that, like, no one just starts recording to become Critical Role. So it's like when we all had a very all the original founders, we all had a discussion about what we want to be and where we wanted this to go. And some of us were like, oh yeah, I'd love for this to be like what I do for my job, which is me. I would love that. I would love if this is a full-time gig and not going to be living off of that. Illusions about that actually happening. But I love doing this. So we do it, and we love people, and we've been extremely lucky. I don't know if it's lucky. We've done a good job of finding the people who are also passionate about nerdy stories and no drama. That is one thing I'm super proud about. You can get in our Discord, there's like no drama. It's very cool, and everyone's just nice and supportive. So yeah. That's my take. Next, somebody say something about it.
Sarah, do you want to go or do you want me to go?
Yeah, no, the community it's kind of been the point since we started. It was like about finding an audience and finding people that you gel with, which is kind of the same thing and kind of different. And I don't know, it just very quickly became the reason we did things, you know? Connecting with these people that come into to our Discord, or just who should come into our Discord. By the way, everyone, get in the Discord. But no, it just became the focus because it is what is the most rewarding about what we do. It's a little treat every day.
I love that. I got to tell you, as somebody who got to come into this community already fairly formed and benefit from the wonderful community building that the other two fine folks here had already done alongside the other founders, I joined up because I really love these people, right? And really love what they built. So I highly recommend, my best endorsement for this community is that I'm here, right? I'm a person who didn't know this community existed technically at this point a year ago, right? Because I only first worked with them 10 months ago, and got so all in on it so quickly that here I am as a member of the team. So that's the best endorsement of, hey, get in the Discord, come hang out with us. This is where I've chosen to put my time. I trust these people. I respect these people. I think they're incredible artists. I think they're even better people, right? Which is the most important part. And I find it is rarer than it should be to find community online that is genuinely living up to its values in a way that is also open-hearted and empathetic and mature. And I feel that I have found that here. So if you're looking for that and you're watching this, come hang out. These people are awesome. They've built something beautiful.
I'm always muted. I'm going to skip the question of how does one become a part of the community, and we're just going to put the Discord link down in the description below. I'm going to slide in there after this. I didn't want to intrude, but I'm going to intrude. But so what kinds of community building or community strengthening activities do you all organize over there, if any?
We're still working on that, to be perfectly honest. We mostly, so every Wednesday we have a character creation prompt that comes up. So something, so a prompt will come up and then people can respond. It can be very serious sometimes, and community can like suggest questions. The other day it was, what is your character's Myers-Briggs alignment, which is very stupid. That was me. I did that one. But it's so that's one thing that we've been doing from almost the beginning. We do have a community game that I'm running that I just reached out and said, hey, does anyone want to play this game with me? It's using the Never Stop Blowing Up system, which is very silly. Very silly and lighthearted. We also have a channel for our Magic the Gathering fans, and I know that they've created a pod. to play together. So it's less about like we plan things and more about like we just have a really great community who are like, hey, I'm a nerd. Are you a nerd about something? Let's be nerdy together.
Yeah.
Which has been really, really fun to watch.
Well, and the whole ethos of let's play more games together, right? Or let's play more games in general. We want to develop more of, right? So like there's a group of folks there who have wanted to play Realis because scheduling is complicated. We haven't done that yet, but we have a Realis game that is on the books. And now that Realis is actually crowdfunding, right? In this general time period and then fulfilling later this year, maybe that grows into more. We talked about playing The Time We Have by Elliot Davis, also, which is a duet game, card-based, right? As something else we might want to do there. But there's also, I forget which one it is, but one of the like Trash Panda kind of games, right? It's not Crash Pandas, which I have played before. It's like another one there. It's like three, it's GM-less, it's three pandas. I'll look it up. But so also like more whimsical things like that. And I do want to mention M. Hubbard, who you'll hear more about later, who's a friend of the collective, a friend of the channel. So it hangs out in there a lot because M's awesome and is kind enough to want to hang out with us, and just makes games, just like thing. So like my favorite example of that is M's like, I kind of want to make a game called Trad Wives about Trad Wolves, about like trad wives who are werewolves. And we were like, yes, do it, please now. And the thing is, M actually did it. So it exists. You can go on itch.
It's
you
an
can go to
itch.io.
M's itch. You can you can download trad wolves.
All right.
And we're actually going to play Trad Wolves soon. I think there was a community game of Trad Wolves on the channel, if I'm not mistaken. Also, like a community game of For the Queen after we recorded. So we try to do a couple little things, but yeah, M's trying to get it on camera. So you might be seeing me play a Trad Wolf sometime soon. We shall see. And coming up with more stuff. I don't want to say what it is. Good.
I do want to say, literally today, they came up and said, I want to make a game called Midwestern Goodbye where people don't leave. And it's the funniest. I was like, I'm first in line to play. That's the best. It's so good.
And so I'm Cuban American.
Kitty.
I'm Cuban American. Hey, Kitty. I'm Cuban American. I'm from Miami. And so what I brought up was like, I can do a modified version on my side of either the Miami Goodbye or the Cuban Goodbye, which is basically just a circle if you're trying to make a Venn diagram out of that, because it is our version of the same thing. I think I'm still saying goodbye right now from like the last family gathering that I was at. It never ended, it's very relatable. And the thing is, M comes up with great core mechanics. Like M is a very good game designer, right? So these are fun concepts that then translate into really interesting work, and being able to hang out with people who make games like that, who are very open about their process in a way that feels very flat hierarchical. Hierarchically, it's very egalitarian and informal. The vibes there is great. It's really, I find it really empowering as somebody newer, relatively speaking, to the TTRPG scene, the AP scene, and also with some interest in potentially writing some stuff in the future for TTRPGs. It's really nice to see somebody who's actually out there doing it and then have it feel accessible and then see what the process is like and be able to talk about that. It's a really cool thing to have in the community.
In my research, I then did go down an M. Hubbard rabbit hole. I could literally do a whole mini episode. I'm probably going to reach out to them and say, let's do a whole episode. And I'm very excited to talk about the things that you've been doing with them. Yes, also during that, my second co-host, Moby, appeared. I lean back to absorb Midwest Goodbye because I live in Illinois. And Moby jumped up in the space between my desks. So now we have our little Moby. But that sounds amazing. I also think I'm still saying goodbye from Christmas, because this is just such a Midwest thing.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy, you're interrupting the interview, but you just need cuddles. Sorry about that. We're not even going to cut this.
Don't worry about it. So there's a thing that I have with cats and streams, pets in general, but usually cats. They bless the stream. So what's happening is our recording is now gangbusters. It is for sure. If the gremlins were going to get us, scared off by the cat, right?
Especially because now he started. Oh, okay. Moby, as happens with every single community showcase, probably should just make a reel of all of this. Moby is a 10-year-old little grumpy man who barely has any teeth, so he's afraid to play with the other cats. So he'll come up here and want to play with me because he ain't got no teeth. Anyways, I'm gonna go back to the questions now. So next question. Unfortunately, struggles are inevitable in the world that we live in. As you are working towards your goal of 1,000 subscribers, what are some obstacles that you are finding or foresee coming up, and how can your community and our community help with those hurdles?
Tell us what you like. That is cats for sure. No, like I will be the first to admit, we are not necessarily the strongest at the social media part of it. Like we love doing the thing, but promoting the thing, listen, Danny's really good at promoting things, and that's not why we asked him to join, but it's a real big plus.
That's not why.
It's not why. It's not why, because Danny's amazing, but Danny came in and shook us all up, and we go, oh, we're productive now. Okay. Oh no. Okay. But clips. Clips are the bane of my existence. I don't know what's funny, apparently, because I'm 40 and my sense of humor is not Gen Alpha.
So as a note,
Gen Z.
I'm also close to 40. I'm not quite 40 yet, but I'm nearly 40. Yeah.
Dang, y'all are
Kids these days.
In a platonic way, gorgeous. Age is just a number, but like you're wearing it well. I'm almost there. And some days I look like it, but I also don't care because the little non-binary gremlin has nothing to do. Continue. I just got shocked by that. Keep going.
I agree with the clips thing, though. Like, it is hard for us sometimes internally to identify because we're very in the process of making the thing, right? And because of my experience outside of this space, I do have some applicable ability to help identify that kind of thing, but it also becomes a question of sustainability, right? We want to make sure that as we ramp this stuff up and we focus our efforts in on the parts of it that fill us back up as much as possible so that it's sustainable. The parts that can be a little bit more worky, without refilling the cup, do need to be spread out a little, right? It's one of the things that's beneficial about this being a collective is we're all able to help each other out with various parts of that. Some of us are better at some parts of it than others just because we have more of a stomach for it, right? Some have more experience with it. Some it does fill cups up a little bit more. So that's really helpful. The other thing that the community is able to help with a lot that we've been asking about recently is identifying what they liked most about an episode or what helped remind them of things. We asked the cast about that too. And that's where we get a lot of ideas. So far, it's what we're experimenting with for the clips that we're putting out. To get to 1K subscribers, speaking completely frankly, putting out these clips matters, because I'm sorry to talk about this with more of like a promotion-y hat on, but for anybody who's looking to grow a channel or just have more reach, YouTube Shorts hyper over-index compared to like everything else, including TikTok. It's crazy. Like, I would have thought before looking at the numbers that TikTok would have over-indexed more highly, and I would have been deeply wrong, right? Like, YouTube Shorts, I think because they're kind of spammy, honestly, because they're in your face, you can't get away from them. But I will tell you preliminarily, without getting into numbers, we are seeing an uptick in traffic off of being able to share on that sort of platform in a way that also jumps to other platforms like IG Reels, right? That allows people to just discover that the show exists, right? Like, we have to have people know it exists to come hang out, right? And so we're doing that. We're also doing the educational videos that we're doing, which first and foremost, we're doing as an extension of our community focus. But honestly, it's also just more digestible content, right? That takes less time for people to watch, that allows them to learn more about the games that we're playing or games in general or us as a channel, and then potentially have an interest in seeing the rest of what we're doing as a conduit. So it does both things, right? It authentically connects with people, providing a real meaningful service that we are passionate about creating, content that we're passionate about creating. And at the same time, lets people know that we exist in a way that isn't asking as much of them as like a 2 to 4 hour episode. And then there's however many episodes. We do a lot of shorter run stuff, relatively speaking. But like if you have 5 episodes and they're, let's say, 2 to 3 hours long, we're still asking for 10 to 15 hours of a person's time, plus a talk back typically. It's not nothing, right? So for people to get to know us a little bit more in a different way and understand what we care about and understand how we come at this, hopefully the authenticity of our care and connection comes through, helps, I think.
Just any feedback at all, honestly. Just I watched this and I enjoyed it, or I watched this and I didn't enjoy it. Something that drives us is the connection that we get with our community. And so just even the tiniest mention of a show that we do helps with that, with the way we refill our cups, as Danny said.
Thank you, though, for sharing all of that, because these are actionable items that we can just like Hank. And we are back. For you, it's been 30 seconds. For us, it's also been 30 seconds. That's how pre-recording works. You don't know. Anyways, before we pop into talking about your shows and your educational videos, we're actually talking during the break about communities helping each other. And Danny, you wanted me to bring that back up, a thing that I'm a big proponent of. And so what were your thoughts?
So I want to highlight a couple of things. One is Eli in particular does really fantastic work with Inferno with doing this. So Inferno, by the time it's done, will have had 40 cast members. Should I keep going, by the way? Sorry, because we lost Eli? Or did we not lose Eli? Did I only lose Eli on my side?
No, so it's very weird that we keep losing Eli in the Video Ninja, but they're not getting lost on my OBS, and I don't know what's going on.
Cool. I could take that answer from the
Yes,
top if you want,
that would be
since
Pardon.
no worries. So yeah, I wanted to highlight first and foremost some really great stuff that Eli does, right, with Inferno. By the time Inferno is done, across the 10 cantos, there will be 40 cast members in this 3-ish year campaign that's set to end in late 2027. And that includes a lot of really talented people doing really interesting stuff all across the space on other channels, as well as in other projects on ours, right? We all go out into the world and do things on other channels as well. One of the things that Eli does really well in Inferno is ask everybody for everything that they're working on, past casts, current casts, future casts, in that group of 40 people, and then plug that during our lives, right? And then we will take some of that promotional material and put it in some of the other stuff that we do. So that's one easy, like table stakes, I'd argue, kind of way that Eli deserves a lot of credit for here at Streaming Rainbow, for us to be able to walk the walk in terms of actually showing up for other communities in the space and being a community of communities. Another project that we're going to talk more about, I believe, in a little bit, Rocket Club, a multi-stage anthology. The purpose behind the structure of it, it's a collaboration with Evil Hat, the publisher of the game Rocket Club, M. Hubbard, who we mentioned before, who's the creator, author of the game Rocket Club, and Streaming Rainbow with Pocket Dragon Pub, Nerds with Dice, and Pantsless Tables. Part of what we're looking to do with that is show all ships rise, right? Like we can be in this together we can be good neighbors. We can be good collaborators across our channels, and all of our channels are better for that. There's no need for us to be like cagey or territorial, you know. We are much, much better off able to do much more interesting work together is my feeling. I don't want to speak for the whole channel, but it is the ethos that I have observed and appreciated about this collective. A big part of what has drawn me into this collective is that centrality of collaboration. And so we're attempting to model that. And so far, it's going really well. At time of recording, that's my opinion. I hope it will continue to be my opinion by the time this airs. Because by the time this airs, we're going to be hitting the tail end of that. That game that I mentioned, Rocket Club, is in open play testing through the end of May 2026. And at the time that this goes up, same day that this goes up, we're going to have our penultimate episode of our live version of Rocket Club. A week later, we're going to have our finale. And the day after that, the plan is for us to have a panel with M on it, myself moderating, and then a representative of all four of those tables I just mentioned across all four channels, plus Eli in from Centrifuge, which is the first Rocket Club AP to ever be done, which I did not GM. I was not the guide for. M was the guide for that. So we're going to have all 7 of those people can go to all 4 channels at the same time. And then everybody's going to have it live on VOD afterwards. So we're looking to collaborate on that front as well, and then potentially in other ways in the future. But I mentioned that because you were talking about actionable steps. I think we should all be sharing those. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think we should all be giving each other tools and helping each other figure out how to do stuff more effectively. We've also shared it when it comes to safety tools, which are so important, right? A lot of the safety tools and practices that we use now at the channel have been at the channel for a while. Some of them are championed elsewhere and then brought in. And then the stuff that we do at the channel that was already working, we've shared with other folks. They've started to take them on. I think that's really important. So I just wanted to highlight that.
Yes. We are going to be talking more about that cross-channel Rocket Club. But yeah, this was pretty much the main topic of another community showcase, which we had with Vixie from Pocket Dragon Pub, and around Power Word Unity, their project, which is honestly how I found you all, because I started combing through their list and like picking and choosing to meet all of these great people. But yes, that is exactly the thing that Diversity Saves wants to encourage everybody to do, is to support each other. It's not a finite support is not a finite resource. We can intermingle, and I'm just gonna do the chat where I ramble for too long, and this is not about me. Anyways, please always let Diversity Saves know anything that we can do to help with that. We're definitely going to be helping promote that by sharing it across all of our platforms.
So speaking of Power Word Unity, Vixie Bell, for those watching at home, from Pocket Dragon Pub, and Carlos Salazar, who's also in Power Word Unity, they're both in Neon Crossfire, which is the one shot of Rocket Club that is a part of the multi-stage anthology. And I'm going to be at Gen Con with Pocket Dragon Pub for the Secret Ways of Love and Magic, the Good Society show that I'm in over there. And there's going to be a Power Word Unity event or two going on there, and I'm going to be there as well. So this is what I'm talking about with communities of community, right? Or a community of communities. Is there's not that many of us here. Do you know what I mean? Like, and we're all doing our best with what we've got here, and I really do think we're all better off together. You know.
I agree. I encourage anybody, after you're done watching this one, if you haven't already, go watch the interview with Vixie Bell and Carlos about Power Word Unity, because it was a great initiative. If I happen to make it to Gen Con, I'm going to stop by and say hi. Still, I'm not confirmed I'm going to make it, but I'm trying so hard. But yeah. Anything else to add? Serafina and Eli? I watched Eli take compliments exactly the same way I take compliments, where you kind of make the face like.
Can I make a quick note about? Yeah. Can I make a quick note about taking compliments? One of the great examples, actually, of the safety tool thing that I mentioned has to do with aftercare, right? It has to do with stars, wishes, and sparkles. There's something that Vixie actually introduced me to that was done by Happy Jacks first, I think, from what I remember that Vixie mentioned. So we're talking about, like, again, community of communities, this making its way through different groups. That I've started to do on all the games that I am the facilitator for, right? Including very much the ones that we do at the channel. And it's doing everybody stars one person at the same time. Instead of going around, then that person does their own sparkle. So they have to give themselves a treat, which is the hardest part of the compliment situation there, because you've just been love bombed a bunch in a positive way. And then it's like, oh no, I have to say nice things about me. This is terribly awkward. Then a wish, but then you get to have your sweet, sweet, loving revenge and start the compliment train on somebody else, right? And then keep going there. I find it's actually really nice. It makes for very coherent discussion. The momentum works really nicely. People seem to react to it pretty well. So for whatever it's worth, can't take credit for having come up with it. But for those watching at home, if that sounds like something you want to try out, I at least highly recommend it.
I love that. Yeah, taking it. I'll credit you all. Don't worry. But we are at the time of probably by the time this is out, we will have already opened up our volunteer opportunities for safety coordinator. But that is definitely something I would like. I will talk to them about implementing because, yeah. That's why I go to therapy weekly. I'll learn to take compliments. We'll get there.
All right. It's important to be kind with ourselves about the fact that it's uncomfortable, right?
Yeah. We're all just silly little guys, and we'll work on it. I love that. My heart is so full right now, and now I have to go talk about other things when I really just want to talk about communities. And that's what we are going to keep talking about, because from your community has blossomed some really awesome shows and educational videos and future coming in educational videos. So as of this recording, which by context clues is like a month before it actually comes out, but as of this recording, you have over 300 videos up on YouTube, and you have a regular schedule of live shows on Twitch. Not just the actual plays, you also have this. We've talked about this, and I'm trying to read a script saying exactly what we've already said. You have the educational content, and it appears you have at least one partnership for a new system coming out. So let's talk about the APs and storytelling first. What shows do you currently have running? / have running in May, that are coming out. I know currently we've got Firmament.
As I look at,
I'll say I have a calendar.
Yeah.
No, and I have it. Up
yeah, as we look at the calendar that Danny has lovingly made for us in our back channels. I'm just like, what do we have going on?
I will say,
by the Danny, time, you're in charge.
By the time I'm not in charge, I'm new here. I'm serving the people with organizational skills. By the time this airs, Firmament Academy will have just had its talkback air on May 12th. So at the time of recording, Firmament Academy is still up. Sarah here, amazing GM of Girl by Moonlight for that game. I had the good fortune of getting to play Entry, which was the Stranger playbook in Girl by Moonlight. It was my first time playing. I had a great time. We have a great cast aside from me, right? That is in there that I highly recommend checking out. And anything that you could watch that Sarah's made. Sarah's such a brilliant storyteller. Could not recommend it highly enough. And not just this, but back catalog stuff. If you want to go look, you can't go wrong with anything Sarah's done.
I absolutely agree. I am listening to I was listening to the first episode earlier today, and Entry's introduction just made me laugh so much, and I don't think it was intended to be comedy, but Entry just being like, I'm bored because everybody is boring.
Kind of intended to be comedy. I mean, leave it to the audience, right, is what I would say. But touchstones for that character were a lot of Promethean touchstones, right? Me in the Frankenstein's monster sense, right? Oh, so like Data but also like Violet Evergarden, and there's a whole list of them. But like in that general vibe of I want to be a real X kind of thing. Am I or am I not? Without getting any spoilers for people watching. But that's where the inspiration came from, and there was a deliberate intent on my part that that Sarah and I collaborated on. And obviously, the rest of the cast supported to make it definitely a mix of comedy and pathos. Right?
It's beautiful. But speaking of the guide, Serafina, can you tell us a little bit about Firmament? And what? Yeah, tell us a little bit about it, and then what sort of inspirations did you have other than proving that? Well, just adding to the truth that queer people make better magic school stories.
Yes. Firmament is a Girl by Moonlight show where I was involved in the Kickstarter for Girl by Moonlight way back when it was in the Kickstarter phase. And when I got it, I was just like, oh, I have to play this. So Firmament is my attempt to make a story inspired by my favorite animes that is nonetheless original and something that I think is I think it'll speak to people because it has a certain vibe to it that I think is infectious. It was inspired, as I mentioned, by animes that I love, most particularly Revolutionary Girl Utena, because that's my favorite anime. So whenever I think about anime, that's what I go to. And I got lucky and got some really brilliant players to make the story round out. So.
Also, because I need to point out the parts where you weren't just lucky, but you were highly skilled and generous. The degree to which Sarah is supportive and adaptive cannot be overstated. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody who wants to watch who hasn't seen yet, including things from the first episode. But I will say there's a choice that my character makes at the end of the first episode that Sarah has since entrusted me with the knowledge that it caused Sarah to have to rewrite a substantial portion of what they had planned. And Sarah was fully, open-heartedly, lovingly, creatively, collaboratively embracing of that decision. And was like that the whole way through, is always like that as a collaborator. And I think that's such an important part of the process because as an art form, the way that I see it, at least, and I believe that this is what I get off of the two of you, Sarah, Eli, as collaborators and our group in general. This is a team sport, right? Like this is a collaborative form of storytelling that is iterative, that is in the moment, that is stronger because we bring to it together what we'd never be able to bring to it on our own. And walking the walk on that can be harder. It could take a lot more work, like when what I just mentioned happens and Sarah has to come up with a lot of new stuff. And I think it's really worth highlighting and giving you your flowers on that, Sarah, that it's deeply appreciated. I can say from a first person perspective, it made me feel really heard and seen and valued. And I'm grateful for it. So, and I think it made the story better that you were willing to do that.
I think my favorite part of that is that when I was going through and editing the show, I came to that part and I looked at it and I was like, you can't even see in my face that he's just taken every single.
It's so hard to talk about without spoilers, but however fundamentally you think I may have undercut like a central thing in this game, it was more fundamental.
Now I'm going to be looking for that. And I'm going to be trying to guess which moment it was. Oh, that's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
In another one of Sarah's games, Hallie's Children, in the final season of it, there's one episode where Sarah, after the fact, could not tell on her face at all. After the fact, was absolutely bricking it for the whole time because we were so close to messing it up for her. Like, we were so close. We were so close. And she, like, after we stopped recording, she went, "Ugh." Like, yeah, it's our favorite thing to put sticks through the wheels of Sarah's bicycle.
So it's also different approaches, right? Because we happen to know. I hope, is it okay that I share, Sarah, a little bit about your process of preparation? We happen to know that Sarah is a very highly prepared GM or facilitator, right? Like, does a lot of work ahead of time to lay the groundwork, and then, as we've been mentioning, fully embraces change at the table. But that means there's a lot of work that's already been done, right? So, like, when that doesn't happen, it definitely has I mean, we all know, right, as GMs, what it's like to have prepared a lot and be like, well, that's gone.
Never mind.
I love that so much, but also, I'm not really a gambler, but remind me not to play poker with you. If you are hiding it all so well, that's so beautiful. I love it.
I have a little bit more on our calendar, if it's okay, and some of
I
it can
just
allow
want,
us to
of
love on
course,
Eli. Yeah,
I
go
just
ahead.
want to make one comment about Firmament, and then we're going to go on. In listening to it, I usually say on community showcases, like, hey, like, full disclaimer, in order to consume all this content, I listen at 1.5. And I started that and got about a minute into the episode and went, oh no. And I put it back down to speed and was just like fully absorbed. The vibe is just, so I just wanted to say that. Absorb it as it's meant to be. It is beautiful. Anyway, more on your calendar.
Yeah, that's a high compliment, though. Thank you. Yeah. Next, I'm going to put the spotlight on Eli here with love and affection. So by the time this is up, we will be between Cantos 5 and 6 of Inferno, actually. So we will be in a quick little break, during which time we will be doing more of Radical Resonance, which is our which Eli is a producer on, which is our Rocket Club live show as a part of the multi-stage anthology. But in Inferno News, we will be doing the Canto 1 through 5 talkbacks around that time. Those are going to be going up on Saturdays in general around then. So what you're going to see is there are 4 characters in the show. As we mentioned, it's a creative relay race where one cast hands it over to the other. So as many of the first 5 of each, like, people to play each of those roles in the first half of the overall campaign, as can get together because people's schedules are busy, are going to be getting together for targeted talkbacks. So the characters are the false prophet, the serpent, the saint, and the pagan. So there's going to be a pagan talkback, a serpent talkback, a saint talkback, and a false prophet talkback. So those are going to be happening around the time that this comes up. We are, right after this comes out, going to have a 4-parter that is deeply heartrending from Bastion, one of the other founders here, that also features different founders at the table. The 3 of us that are here, and Cameron, who's not here right now, are all at the table at some point in there across the 4 episodes, and that's going to be May 18th, 19th, 25th, and 26th. So it's going to be, we're doing a different thing where we drop on a Monday, Tuesday. So all 4 episodes in 2 weeks, and then we're going to be programming in our next stuff. But Your Worst Night is the name of it, and it's an adaptation. It's a hack that Bastion created himself of a game called One Child's Heart, which is really beautiful and heartrending. And then as I mentioned, Radical Resonance will still be up. I mentioned the stuff earlier that's coming up, including the live panel, which we're really excited about. About a week after that panel, we're going to be doing the live talkback with the cast of Radical Resonance, either everybody or as many people as can show up. But we're also doing educational videos, half of which don't have anything to do with Rocket Club, and through like early, middle June, half of which do have to do with Rocket Club. So at the time of recording, we already have a Rocket Club focused one that Eli was in about character creation, running that.
I did watch that one too.
Awesome. That's great. So we're gonna have a bunch more tools like that about Rocket Club. So people who want to play the game, if you want to watch videos, to be like, how do I use the alien threat maker to create an alien threat? How do I, approach campaign and session prep for this? What's a session 0 for this look like? We're gonna have videos up for at least some of that by the time this comes out. All of that by about a month later, by about the middle of June, as well as a one-on-one talkback retrospective with M. Hubbard about the overall project of Rocket Club, a multi-stage anthology, about Centrifuge, which was sort of a part of that, but was done separately here on the channel on Streaming Rainbow, and about the open playtesting period overall. So y'all can look out for that.
That's amazing. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about. I want to come back to the Rocket Club, the multi-stage anthology, multi-channel collaboration. Mainly because I'm just kind of obsessed with this idea. And so Rocket Club itself is a system, as you just said, by M. Hubbard. If I read correctly, because I think I also read, I know I read an article on Rascal News, that this started as a one-pager that then just fleshed out into a whole book.
Yeah, during COVID.
Pages. Yeah.
102. Oh, I love
172. 172.
72.
Yeah.
Amazing. I cannot wait to meet M. But if we could talk a little bit about what people can expect from this anthology, primarily what Rocket Club is. I don't want to. I want to save some of that for if I ever get the chance to interview M. But it is a show where you play middle school, or not a show. It's a game where you play middle schoolers, essentially science nerds, and I freaking love that. But yeah, what is your take? What are these 4 separate four separate sections on each channel? What can people expect and kind of look forward to? At this point, they'll be on the VODs, but yes.
So generally speaking, and they're all gonna live on that long term. If it's okay, before we get into those 4, I'd love to start like chronologically with Centrifuge, right? Which
yeah, of course.
And I was not in Centrifuge, but Eli and Sarah were both in Centrifuge, and it was guided, right? Because that's the parlance there. You're a guide, not a GM, for Rocket Club by M. And it was the very first ever AP. We had it out across of Rocket Club anywhere. We had it out across March, and it was great. So if you want to go back, check that out. It's 4 episodes plus a talk back. Really great cast of founders there. Y'all want to get into that experience a little bit?
Yeah. So I actually had the great honor of being able to play test before it was an open play test. So I've gotten to see Rocket Club grow in a way that's very fun. And it came up in a conversation because all the playtests have been with a bunch of people who don't know each other. So it came up with the idea of what would it be like if you guided a table of people who have played so much together, like Sarah and David and Cameron, who is, we are like 4 of the original founders and who have been playing together at this point now for almost 4 years, 5 years. It's been a long time of us like being very familiar with each other and our story beats and all that. I will let Sarah talk about her experience, but when all 4 of us to get together and we are told we get to play children, it gets very silly and very slapstick. So I played a character who was the new kid, and I had pet sugar gliders in my pocket at all time. So it was it's very silly.
That's such
Cameron,
a kid thing to do.
Exactly. Cameron Koshkum, we love them so dearly. They do the weirdest thing they can possibly do, and Patrick is that. And Courtney. Sorry, Courtney was also in this. I apologize. Who again is a founder alum who really unfortunately has been put into the position of having to like wrangle us because when us as a collective don't have to be the guide or the storyteller of something, we're insane. So
chaos of freedom from responsibility, right? Yeah,
for sure. So Centrifuge was very it wasn't I won't like it was very silly and lighthearted. There still had some very serious undertones, which is kind of what Streaming Rainbow, like that's kind of our MO. Like it's either very serious or it's very lighthearted but with serious undertones. Like we always got to slip in the heart into everything. But yeah, so that was ours. So Sarah, if you want to talk about your experience, because that was the first time you'd played it, right?
Yeah, I'd never played it before. And I think my greatest memory is just because of the dice system that it uses. There's 3 dice, and one is for the effect, and one is for the emotion that's involved, and one is for like how it turns out to look. And so I kept going for like, it didn't really matter if I succeeded at a role as long as my character looked cool. That was my character's real motivation, you know. So
it is a literal mechanic, to be clear, for people who may not be available, like who might not have seen this stuff yet. But like, if you roll a 4 on side effect, one of the 3 dice, literally the outcome is you look cool. And if you're in front of a crush or rival, which is also a mechanic, and by the way, to have a crush does not have to be romantic, it can be, but it's fully inclusive of crushes that are non-romantic as well. If you have an NPC crush or rival and they're there and you look cool in front of them, you get an extra reroll on your next action roll.
And Sarah had one. It was great.
it was fun.
But if you look foolish, which is rolling a 3 on that in front of them, you take a condition.
Bad.
So,
yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
But the thing that I love, because I have had the honor of being a producer for Radical Resonance, and I get to see this other thing. And there is one truth about Danny Mendoza, and he will, pardon the language, fuck you up. So like it immediately got scary. So that's one of the things that I love about
Oh, hold on, Eli.
I think we lost.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I don't know what to do with this internet.
Okay.
It's nothing.
I totally understand.
Okay.
I just
the internet was just saying you shouldn't be complimenting me right now.
He was like, no. No, but I was complimenting M, Danny.
Okay, perfect.
So one of the things that I love about Rocket Club is how you can make it as serious or as silly as you want it to be. It can be so surface level and so lighthearted or terrifying, or because that's spoilers. Danny's making it scary. So
you knew that children facing a terrible violent invasion would be scary. Why would that be scary?
Yeah, it's great.
So M actually reached out.
I don't know. Centrifuge wasn't scary.
I know. But okay, so Centrifuge
wasn't Danny.
Those are true. I wasn't even at the table. Because if I was a player, I'd have snuck in there. So Centrifuge used one of the pre-gen alien threats, if I followed correctly, right, from the text. So if you go into the playtest, you at home, if you go into the playtest, you can go to evilhat.com/rocket-club, and you can fill out a little Google form, and you can get a 172-page PDF plus supporting materials for free. All that we ask that you do in exchange for that is fill out the Google form part that gives feedback, right? Let them know what you think about the game. It's a beautiful game already. We want to make it the best version of itself that it can be, right? In the text itself, it's the RoboRink, right? Preset alien threat is in there, so you can actually watch Centrifuge. I recommend doing it in this order. Watch it first, so you're not spoiling it for yourself, and then after that, you can go back and see what the pre-gen alien threat looked like. that was used for Centrifuge, and then map stuff out in your head to like how that would work. I think one of the most genius things that M's done in this game, and seriously, I cannot emphasize highly enough how mechanically beautiful this game is. Like, forget about the fact that this is made by a friend or that we're working on this. I would have fallen in love with this game if I just came across it in the wild, right? Like, it's incredible. It's so much attentiveness to how it's constructed, co-creation stuff ahead of time. And what I was going to mention, the Alien Threat Maker is an Oracle optional tool that's in there for guides to use. And it was my first experience with this game system because back in August of 2025, M was playtesting the Alien Threat Maker Oracle. And I actually created in that playtest the 3 general alien threats that obviously I made more specific with collaboration with each table that are the threats in 3 of the 4 tables. So the threat on Nerds with Dice, the threat on Pantsless Tables, and the threat on Pocket Dragon Pub were all made in August of 2025 during a playtest using this Alien Threat Maker Oracle. And it was compelling enough already then that it lived in my mind for months afterwards. And then around the time that Centrifuge was wrapping up, M reached out very kindly to ask if I happened to be doing anything anywhere, and I wasn't married into a system for it yet. Would I consider doing something with Rocket Club? Partially, honestly, because of what we were joking about before, right? Because I do bring lighthearted stuff into what we do, but I bring a lot of what I would say is just like grounded stakes in the reality of whatever it is that we're doing, right? And then those stakes are scary sometimes, and sometimes they hurt, but always in consensual and safe ways that everybody's enthusiastic about at the table, because that's super important. And we do very rigorous safety discussions ahead of time and iteratively throughout to make sure that there is high trust established and maintained at the table so that that can happen and everybody has a good experience with that. I want to read out a couple quotes actually from the book that are quoted from other people that give you a sense of what this game is conceptually in terms of the focus on middle school students, right? Like, it's a game, it says it here, it's a game of precocious, rocket-obsessed middle schoolers facing a dangerous alien invasion while grappling with their own volatile emotions. The good news is that can be a million things. That can be very, very silly, as in Centrifuge. That can be a bit scarier, like it is in Radical Resonance. In Neon Crossfire over at Pocket Dragon Pub, it's got big action adventure vibes. The way I described it during part of the prep for that was we're more aliens than alien, right? A little more James Cameron, a little bit less Ridley Scott in our approach to that, right? A little more rough and tumble, but you know what? Still stakes, right? The one over at Pantsless Tables, A Fractured Sky, is probably the most anime of it in a sense, and like very heightened. Like, this Rocket Club is very powerful and has been around canonically longer than anyone can remember. It's one of the longest institutions in the town. Everything is the town, the school, the planet. Like, we went very big with that. They have like NASA grade materials that they have access to. It's wild and a lot of fun. Also very different in terms of genre. Also has a lot of pathos and some scary stuff in there. One of the creative touchstones I had for it was Annihilation. Another one was Hell's Paradise, the anime, right? If you're familiar with it. So tough stuff, right? But you find a way to put that in. And then A Silent Harvest over at Nerds with Dice is much more paranoid, right? It's set in 1996. It is set in Oak Haven, which is like an Americana town, right? And it is very Stepford Wives, Body Snatchers, kind of thing, right? Definitely a little bit slower burn, even though these are shorter shows overall. We have the one Neon Crossfire over at Pocket Dragon is just one shot so far. The process over there is typically to do that first as a tester. And the other 2 shows that I just mentioned, Pantsless Tables 1 and the one on Nerds with Dice, are both 4 episodes each. And Radical Resonance, by the time this goes up, will be having its 4th episode same day that this goes live. 5th episode the week after. So it's 5 episode 1. When the full game comes out, my hope, which will probably be next year, my hope is to do something longer. with this. And I know that some of the folks who are involved in this are already interested in ways I can't talk about completely, but already interested in doing more then as well. So really exciting stuff. People keep coming back to it. The quotes I wanted to read. It is called middle school, and it's the most fiendish, torturous, and horrible place ever conceived in the darkest corner of man's mind. That's from M.E. Castle, popular clone. Second one, being young is a great advantage since we see the world from a new perspective and we are not afraid of making radical changes. That's from Greta Thunberg. So when you put those two things together, that is why M chose those quotes. It's the core of the ethos of the game, right? So you can get at that a million different ways. I'm really excited. We wanted to show off. We go from a 3-player plus me table to a 5-player plus me table in size. Some of these are pre-records. Most of them are pre-records. But the one we're doing right now, Radical Resonance on Streaming Rainbow, is live. So I wanted to show, like, what is it like when different groupings of people, different numbers of people, different people with different backgrounds that they bring to the table are able to do that. There's a lot of collaborative co-creation in the game. Somebody was comparing it in a talkback that we recorded on one of these channels recently to the Quiet Year, actually, like it's supportively, which is funny because the author of the Quiet Year consulted on Rocket Club. So not accidental, right? And it really is a mini game on its own, sort of like the Alien Threat Maker is, where you get together. There's the thing that like Daggerheart and a bunch of other things do, a bunch of PBTAs do, where you have relationship questions, but there's so much more than that for the creation of the town, the creation of the school, the creation of the club, that people really respond to. You got to give it a lot of time. So if you're going to do it synchronously, you might want to do like a safety session 0 and then like a creative session 0, or one longer one if people have the spoons for that. But otherwise, we did a lot of async stuff too. And it was a great game on its own. So I think if we are able to do a full version of it, maybe a little bit longer game when the game releases next year, or when it's in the process of that, I may want to actually, if everybody at the table is comfortable with it, do that full collaborative co-creation process as a part of the show. So people can see what that's like directly. We have in our educational videos that I don't know if it'll be out by the time that specific one will be out by the time this airs, but if not, it'll be out soon. We have material regarding our session 0, and then there's supplementary material to that cut into it of me explaining exactly what I'm talking about now. So you can watch that video, you can see it in more detail. But it's still different than seeing people actually do it collaboratively live. So I'm really interested in showing that, because the casts, even though it asks a lot of them, the casts of players have really embraced it. Like they deeply, deeply love that process because they get a lot of ownership out of it. And as a guide, I got to tell you, it takes a lot of work off your plate. So you're like, great, this is an incredibly rich world that I know all of you care about because you came up with so many pieces of it. So I can just lean into that, use it up, and it's a beautiful, virtuous circle of creation.
I love that. I hope that you are able to record that, because those creative processes are just, mwah, I love that. Did you know that Diversity Saves has a Discord? Join us on Discord to connect with our community and board members. Be the first to be updated about grants, fundraisers, and volunteer opportunities, or join one of the many community-run games. Click the link in the description below to join. And you don't know we left, but we're back again. We're just fixing a couple technical gremlins, and I very much appreciate these three sticking with us while we go through that. But our next question is, do any of the stories in your current or past shows resonate with you personally, or are there any that you are most proud of getting released?
I have a very specific one, but
Yes.
does anybody else have anything?
Oh, I've got, but no, Eli, I want to hear yours.
I do too.
Our first ever game, our flagship was Sarah, because Sarah was like, I want to go first because I gotta go. And it was Hallie's Children, which please everyone go and watch it. It is our only campaign. Well, that's not true. It is currently our campaign that has 5 seasons and has been completed. Like there's no more of this story happening. It was our first ever, and it's about a group of people who see Halley's Comet or Halley's Comet and get superpowers and immortality. So I said, how interesting would it be? It starts in Hastings at the Battle of Hastings, so 1033 for all you history nerds.
And 66, but
1066. I'm not a history nerd. Can you tell? 10, yeah, you're right. 1066. I don't care. I do care a lot. I care. The reason I care about it is because I said, how cool would it be to play a young feminine person who is actually non-binary and asexual? In this time, what power would they most want to be? Shape changer, of course. Shapeshifter. And then about 2 seasons in, I went, am I trans? You can see me on camera have an existential crisis about who I am fundamentally as a person. Check it out. People were texting me while filming because I'm weeping on camera.
That is the most beautiful thing. I cannot wait to go back and watch that.
Yeah. Hey guys, storytelling is really fucking important to know who you are at a fundamental level. So that is by far the biggest thing for me. Everything has its moments, but that is obviously, it changed the trajectory of my life in the best way possible. Because I am now fully out as a trans man and living my best life. So,
oh my gosh.
Thank you, Sarah.
That is the, oh my gosh, I'm so, whew, wow, I love that. Go play at tables and learn about yourself. I definitely became more comfortable as being non-binary from TTRPG. So I second the, oh my gosh, that is so cool. I'm doing the autistic thing again. I'm gonna start flapping. I love it. Is that the same show that when I asked the question put a smile on your face, Sarah?
Yes. Yeah, I knew the story that was coming. But yeah,
Sarah saw the flags before I did, which is kind of true for most things.
Egg, and then saw the egg cracking. And, okay.
It was so special. That whole show, that whole story is very special to me. It's my favorite story I've ever told. And so just like if it's also, looking back on it, sort of like a history of us, because it's from where we really started, and all the looking back and all the mistakes that I made, and all the crazy things that I learned as I went by, and how the show production value improves over time is it's fun to watch. I love it very much.
So I want to ask, because the premise also, outside of this amazing thing that you just told me that I'm still processing, does it all take place in 1066? Because you said they're immortal. Does it go on to future eras?
Yes, we went through. We started in 1066, and then we went to the Siege of Belgrade in, oh gosh, no, I've completely forgotten the date. I'm not gonna embarrass myself by trying to remember. And then
Sarah, I embarrassed myself for not knowing when the Battle of Hastings was.
Then we go to Fort Ticonderoga in the 18th century, and then we go to the 80s with the Challenger disaster, and we did a show around that. That was probably, I think, I don't know if it's my favorite, but Challenger is probably the best thing that I've done, technically speaking, and story-wise. And then we went into the future with it, and then we closed it up. It was good.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like so freaking beautiful. Okay. Now, Danny,
Yeah.
follow that up somehow.
Nah. No, next. No. Nah. What I have for that, for what we've done here at Streaming Rainbow, I mean, I've loved everything I've done genuinely here. The first pre-recorded show that I was a part of here was Olympus, and I really loved the opportunity to tell the stories that we told with that show. It is alongside Hallie's Children, the show, and Inferno. Those are sort of the three shows that have reached the most people, I believe, so far on our channel. So I was grateful to be able to be a part of two of them, right? Because I was also on Inferno for a bit. And what specifically what Sarah and I were able to build in the relationship between our two characters, they were best friends in there, was really great right off the rip. Everything that Bastion did to support that. Tower was the other player in the show as well, did a great job. That was a really special game just because it was my first thing after the Be Gay Do Crimes Pride fundraiser that I did here on the channel. It was the next thing that I did here, and because I'm actually pretty new to APs, it was the first full campaign that I played on camera. It was also my first time ever playing Fabula Ultima, which was a great system. I highly recommend it. It was a lot of fun. So there's a lot of firsts there. And it was lovely because it was with these lovely people. We told really great, meaningful stories. I got to put a lot of stuff that relate to me in real life into that character in different ways, right? Like in pockets. The person is not like a version of me. They're pretty different, but a lot of the things that they care about, I care about, right? And that was really lovely. One of those things was fatherhood, because I am a newish father. And that was a big thing for that character. That was really lovely to be able to dig into. We got hit with some really interesting surprises there. So getting to jump into Inferno, getting to be the Serpent, and play specifically with the Kanto 4 cast that had such a beautiful chemistry, right? Like, I just want to play, including Eli here, with those 4 other people, so 5 of us total, as a cohesive unit, as many times as y'all are going to let me do it, right? Like, that's very, very, very fun. Just like I'd love to go back to the world of Olympus again. I want to do more stuff with those people. That was probably the most special part of that. Although Eli was also very supportive in allowing me to do wild stuff. I was in practice a rogue who fireballed. And when I fireballed, it was to seize the means of production and tear down an oppressive capitalist infrastructure. So I literally just took 9 potion bottles full of like magical fire, went boop down a hole, did 108 points of damage, fire damage on that. And then I got to send with a command, just a low level spell that I had because of how that works in Acheron's Inferno. I got to send the second most dangerous opponent we could have in the whole circle of hell we were in to go dive in a hole and die. So that was really fun stuff.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Can you confirm, just for the record, that character was not recently in California at a warehouse?
Can neither confirm nor deny.
Okay.
No, no, that character is strictly currently in Canto 5, so running through hell still, but run by Abby, who's an amazing actual play performer. So pass the baton already to somebody else. But I will say a lot of pathos in that game as well. So we got to dig into some really interesting stuff. We had a lot of a lot of friction in the fiction. So a lot of support above table. To make sure that was played safely, and that was really fun and gratifying. The other thing here that that I would say I'm most proud of, I'm proud of everything, and I'm really proud of the community work and getting to be a part of this team here with these folks. In terms of creative stuff people can go watch, we did a fundraiser for Raíces this past early March, running Pasión de las Pasiones. That was absolutely a rage-fueled artistic expression of my frustration with what ICE is doing to far too many of us in far too many ways. And we had a 3-hour safety discussion ahead of time as a table, because we played Pasión de las Pasiones fully rules as written, but we, within that, were able to take it in a tonally very different direction for the back half. So for the front half, full normal Pasión de las Pasiones shenanigans. It was lovely. It was wonderful. I was back chatting with Eli. I'm like, do I really have to do this on the second half? Everybody's so happy right now. And I'm seriously doubting myself. I'm like, I messed up. I can't hurt everybody now. This is terrible. But we did it. We did what we planned with the second half, and it was beautiful. Everybody who collaborated in that, who jumped in, was incredibly brave. The work that they did was really touching. We did it for a great cause. We got support from Magpie Games for it. They gave us copies of Pasión to give out. It helped us develop more of a relationship there too. So we're hoping to do more stuff for Pasión and maybe some other Magpie games. And we were able to be in touch with Raíces as an organization and let them know so that they could amplify what we were doing as well. And we're hoping to grow more relationships with more organizations whose values align with ours, so that we could work with them directly in whatever ways, you know, their strictures would allow, right? So that we can help raise money for these good causes, and they can help more people see what we're doing to raise money for these good causes, because they will typically have quite a bit more reach than we do. So it's a win-win.
That's amazing. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that VOD. I'm gonna have to go back and watch all of them. Why do I keep saying that? So I'm actually rearranging the questions a little bit, but I want to be able to touch base about your educational content. We've already talked about how you're going to be doing things for Rocket Club, and you're going to be making videos about that one. Outside of that, what kind of educational content are you looking to continue to, like, what can we look forward to in the future? Are there any that you want to mention or talk about that you've already released?
Yeah.
Sure. Well, so Eli and Bastion, who we've mentioned before as one of the other founders, were in the first educational video that we put
Yes.
out. Eli, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, and I will say huge shout out to Bastion. This is something that he finds a whole lot of passion in doing. In fact, God, is it 3 years now that we went to Gen Con? We had a panel where we talked about educational stuff and just setting up APs in general. But this is something that Bastion really cares about a lot. So he and I had a conversation about what the difference is between a home game, a live stream, and a pre-recorded AP. Like, how do you handle things differently, and maybe how should you like realign how you think about how you set it up, because home games, people are like, oh, my home game is hilarious, I'll just film it and I'll become famous, like Legends of Evantris or Critical Role. I hate to tell you guys, not likely. But like, you know, there's also so much production that has to go into it. And even at that level, at an AP level, live streaming is a whole different beast to pre-record it. We handle things very differently. So that was really cool. And then as of recording, literally as we were recording this this interview, our another Bastion original went up, where he had a discussion with Danny about world building and a tool for that. So I will pass it on to Danny to talk about world building with seeds.
Yeah. So check out the video for the whole like process of how to do it. But Bastion put together something really interesting. All credit goes to him for the focus of that video. I did a bunch of research on different world building techniques. Bastion and I are both people with TTRPG. I like to call them not TTRPG collecting problems. Let's call them TTRPG collecting solutions, right? I have a lot of them behind me over here. Most of that bookshelf is TTRPG stuff, and there's more to come and more stuff. There are some regular books there, but it really is mostly that. And I have way more in the way of digital copies of stuff that are far surpasses what you see behind me.
I've made the joke that we need to have one educational video, which is just Danny and Bastion doing a whole video like this, and then there's that one, and then just the back of their head the whole time.
Because sometimes
That's
when
it,
we're
because they both
iterating,
have like bookshelves full.
when we're ideating stuff or iterating on existing ideas, we will literally sometimes do that. Is why Eli mentions we'll be like, "Oh, you mean?" And then we grab it, and then we're like, "This thing," and we show that, and whatever.
Yeah, you got to get one of those like GoPros on your head. And
Exactly. Switch to the
GoPro
Danny
and-
cam.
Mhm.
Yeah, or the Bastion cam. Yeah, it's an interesting conversation. It's a lot of fun. I found immediately, and it speaks to the value of collaborative co-creation at the table. Although you can use these tools solo, and we talk about that as well. We made the video together. Bastion invited me in because we wanted to show off the dynamism of that. So Bastion was mostly doing the prompting and shaping stuff, and then chose to have me be the one answering the questions, filling out this world where we came up with, spoiler alert, a world where the internet is naturally occurring. It's a naturally occurring phenomena. And how does
But
that...
trees have Wi-Fi?
Yeah, 100%. That's essentially the idea. But then we talked at a surface level, right? It's not an incredibly long video, but as a starting point, about what does that mean for various structures of society? How does that change how people function? How does that change how it works as a utility? What our relationship is to it conceptually and practically? How does that change over time? What I really was appreciative of being invited in to be a part of that video is that we got a chance on camera to model a little bit of what expansive, exploratory world building is like, where you're not married into a concept ahead of time, but you're essentially playing to find out, fully improvising in the moment what it is you're coming across. You can fully do that, as with the Alien Threat Maker example I gave before, solo, right? But I will say there is a lot to be gained from doing it with someone or with a group of people if you're in a context where that feels appropriate. There's pros and cons to both, right? And no wrong answers. So we have that. I have our list up here. So we have only projected out to like the middle of, at the time of taping, to like the middle of June, what our educational videos are going to be. And then after that, I have a few ideas. I want to do a deep dive on safety tool stuff. And I want to do some other like developmental stuff for campaign development, concept development, etc. But what we have here that is not Radical Resonance, that is not related to Rocket Club. We have a few more Bastion educational videos that are still in process at the time of taping, so I don't want to get into specifics there. But I will mention on the side of the videos that I'm going to be producing for this, alongside the talk back with M that I mentioned, that again is not going to just be about these APs, will also, including Centrifuge, will also be about the overall open playtesting process. So just giving a sort of an insider view of what open playtesting is like, how it's been to develop this game from a one-page RPG set up to this 172-page version of it, working with Evil Hat, getting Avery Alder to be a consultant on it, right, which is a huge deal. So alongside that, I know for sure we're going to have at least one video that I have written here in my notes as Danny Play More Different Games educational video, Pride aligned, because it's in our Pride programming. So I am going to find a way to Pride align it, because everything in June is going to be Pride aligned, because we want that. But on top of that, we're tying it into the two 5-system game campaigns that are going to be running during Pride. One runs throughout Pride, the other starts about halfway through, runs into July. Pride is a Riot and Half of My Soul. Pride is a Riot is exactly what it sounds like. It is a 5-system embrace of the punk rock aesthetic of Pride, that Pride began as a riot, and Pride needs to be one now because we're facing some shit, right? So it's got a bit of that kind of energy in what we've selected, who we've cast, and how we're approaching it. Half of My Soul, as you can tell from the title, has a bit of a different vibe, and is very influenced by Madeline Miller's work, and specifically the Song of Achilles, which means a lot to me, which I have a nice copy of back there, actually. And we're featuring 5 different systems there. So this is going to tie in a sense to that, because what I'm going to be talking about is what it's like to play more games, right? What it's like to schedule games to some degree, but more the focus is what it's like to actually pick up the games we want to play and do it. What does it mean to do? Because I've done a lot of that in my AP life in particular so far. Has been, I've never played this before, and I'm going to run it this time, and we're going to do that. And I pick it up and I figure it out. There's a lot of games that lend themselves more easily to that, so I'll touch on that in the video. But that for sure we want to get into, because we're big about giving actionable stuff people can use to do the things they tell us that they want to do already. The other thing I'll say is, if anybody watching this wants us to do videos about anything, tell us, please. Reach us on Blue Sky. Come hang out in our Discord. Comment on our videos. Whatever it is you want to do that you feel comfortable with, hit us up. We want to know, and then we're going to make that thing, is the thing about that. So, and we want to do more things that tie into our content, though, right? Like to our existing shows, the stuff that we have coming up, and the stuff that we've done in the past, so that people also have a way of contextualizing it. Like, oh, that sounds great, but what does it look like? Well, they can go back. If we're doing something on Fabula Ultima, they can watch Olympus. We want to do something on Fate, they can watch Halley's Children, right? Like, it's or Girl by Moonlight, they could look at Firmament Academy. If they want to do Acheron properties, they could look at Inferno or some other stuff that Eli's got cooking, right? Et cetera, et cetera. So that's what we have on the docket so far. But yeah, we're very open to new ideas.
Yeah, I will say, like, how to play a game is also something that it's like always on the back burner. And actually, in fact, Sarah made a how to play Fate tutorial at the beginning of everything, because people don't know how to play it.
That was our first video. That was crazy.
That was our first video before an AP. So kind of echoing what Danny just said, if there's a game that you want to like play, but you're a little bit scared to just jump in and do it, because that's intimidating. I'll admit it, it's intimidating. Tell us and we'll do it for you. and we'll do an explainer, and we'll break it down, because we've got a lot of people who are really passionate about like dissecting how a game works, like mechanically. Bastion and Danny being two of those people. So that way it's like, okay, you can get a vibe and then go and play it. Because it is also fun. There is something really to be said about just jumping in and learning as you go. That's how I am. But I know plenty of people who are not like that. So yeah, if you want to learn, if there's a game that you're passionate about but are scared to jump in and do it, let us know. Get in the comments.
We're also doing some community giveaways on our Discord that include us as GMs, because we are a collective of GMs, running a one-shot for you and your friends. So if you want to get in our Discord and do that, we can also just teach you a game by you playing it with us, if you want to do that. Oh,
that's a good idea.
It's a big part of our community push, right? Because again, we want this to be real, embodied, living, thriving community. So that means we show up, we hang out. We're not just on this side of the screen. We talk to you. Just come hang out with us, and then you can talk to us. Yeah.
I love it. That's been my response to everything, because I just genuinely, I'm so excited about all of this. But like we've touched on a little bit, Pride is coming up. When this comes out, it's a couple weeks away. What do you all have going on for Pride? Sounds like we have the 2 5-system games.
Yeah.
Pull out that calendar again. What's going on?
So I can talk about live stream part of it, because 2 of them are going to be my game of Inferno, because it's gay as hell is what I always call Inferno Pride. So 2 of the let me switch back.
Yep.
Our first live stream, which we live stream every Friday now, at 8 p.m. Eastern time. We're having a guest GM come back. They have been a player at our table, at many of our tables. The wonderful Mags of Streaming Rainbow. We're just going to let them
Mags from Streaming Rainbow, right?
Yeah. Mags from Streaming Rainbow. They have been They have been one of our players and honestly one of our day one supporters. They have been some of the loudest support we've had, and we love them profoundly and deeply. They ran a charity. Actually, their first ever time GMing as a live stream was on Streaming Rainbow. It wasn't meant to be. It was playing Evil. Every villain is a loser. By I'm gonna get the name wrong. Riley is their first name.
I'll look it up.
Yeah. But it's a great game, by the way. Please play it. It's very silly. Because of everything that was going on in the world when that live stream was happened, we both mutually came together and said, "You want to make this a charity stream?" Mm-hmm. And we did for Raices. It was the first of two that we did, where we did Every Villain is a Loser with Mags, which was very lighthearted and silly, and then Danny brought us back with Pasión de las Pasiones, which was beautiful, by the way. So Mags is coming back to do a game that is going to be an all-femme cast based around a league of their own. So it might be ball game. I don't think they've landed on which baseball-themed system they want to use yet. I'm thinking it's probably going to be ball game, but I'm very excited for Mags to come back and do this very, very fun idea. I know who the cast is, and y'all are going to lose your minds. It's an amazing cast. Sarah included, by the way.
I am excited to also, but I just got, like, my brain glitched a little bit when I just learned that there's multiple baseball teams.
Yeah, there's ball game. There's one which is Don't Hit a Bird with a Baseball Bat, which is fully a reference to something that happened in Arizona for the Arizona baseball team in the 2000s.
Yep.
It's fully based off of that moment that you're thinking of. It's very
Arizona,
funny.
Of course, I know that moment.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yes. So that's our first one. So we're starting off with a really great time, and for the entire month, all proceeds are going to be going to a charity that supports the trans community. Last year we did Trans Lifeline. We haven't landed exactly on who it's going to be this year, but more likely it's going to be on a charity that focuses on legal aid for the trans community. Unsurprisingly, it's a very important topic to me. So and many others on our team. Yeah, so that's going to be the charitable focus of Pride for us this year. And then 2 of the sessions are going to be my Inferno game, which while can be very silly, is also set in hell. So it gets very heavy in a lot of situations. But we lighten up the mood during Pride because we have rewards that people can buy. Last year, we had, you could, if you donated $1, you could buy a one-shot gun to give to a player in hell. And that's making a return, but it's probably going to be, inflation's a bitch, and it's going to be more than $1 this year. But yes, we make it a little silly for those 2 sessions. I will also say that Juneteenth is happening on a Friday this year in June. And out of respect for the fact that none of us are Black, we are actually going to be going dark for that Friday. And we'll be supporting our Black content creator friends to help lift up their stories, because that is way more important than us getting views on a Friday. So that is what Pride's going to look like on the live stream side of things. And yeah, I'll let Danny and Sarah talk about the pre-recorded side of things.
Sarah, did you want to jump in with anything?
I must admit I don't remember what's happening in June, so
no worries. Well, and that's because we've been moving around the schedule a bit as well, and some of the stuff that you have coming up comes out a little bit later now and was going to come up then. And some of the stuff that was going to come up then is happening sooner because we're doing Permanent Academy now. We are in June on the pre-record side. We're going to have educational videos. We're also going to have the 2 shows that I mentioned before. So for Pride as a Riot, we're opening with Thirsty Sword Lesbians. Then we are going to Moonlight on Roseville Beach. Then we're doing Monster Hearts 2. Then we are doing Extreme Meat Punks Forever. And we're finishing up Pride as a Riot with Queers. It's all caps with a Z at the end and an exclamation point from Son of Oak Games. So that is our Pride is a Riot lineup, and we have a phenomenal cast lined up for that as well that I think you're going to be really excited about. We are, at time of taping this, still finalizing our cast for Half of My Soul. That's going to start halfway through Pride, and it's basically going to just extend Pride, as far as we're concerned, into July. Because why? Why would we keep it to a month? Fuck that. If I'm allowed to say fuck that.
Oh yeah, you're allowed to say that. I'll also
Okay.
just say I usually use July for Wrath.
Yeah.
I very much support gay wrath.
You know, that's actually kind of fitting with what we have here. Although I will say the current order we have here kind of starts with a little bit more of what might be wrath and a little bit more celebratory toward the end. But the we're starting with Aegon because again this is inspired by the Song of Achilles. And the second up is a game called Potveroy, which is really interesting. It is about fairy tales and queer stories, queer communities in fairy tales. We have after that Under Hollow Hills, as I mentioned, then Perils and Princesses, and Himbos of Myth and Metal. In all cases, we do a talk back after each of our shows. And one thing I did want to mention with regard to educational videos is I think it's worth expansively defining that, because we have a new push for educational videos now, relatively speaking, on the channel. It's changing our programming where we're dropping some stuff on Thursdays, at least some of the time for that. But as was mentioned before, it was historically the very first video that the channel ever did was like that. I would argue that the nature of our talkbacks tend to have some educational value and educational components because of what we focus on in there. And also to the story that you were telling before, Eli, that was so moving about your experience with Hallie's children. You all have done panels. Like I haven't done a panel yet. I mean, I was on the retrospective for the year last year has to do with me joining the team and all that. But you all did a panel also about exploring your identity through role-playing games. And that I think is really important educational content. Would you want to talk about that a little bit?
This is one that Sarah can absolutely jump in on. Yeah, that was part of our Pride programming last year. Bastion was an amazing kind of MC of it as an ally. But myself, Sarah, and Mags, who again is coming as the GM, it was all talking about how TTRPGs have helped inform or shape what our identity is. So yeah, obviously I talked about the fact that Ida is the character's name. Really, like, obviously I had questions beforehand, but Ida really was like, nah, there's the key. There's the unlock button. The Tetris block came into place. And just how it affects how we play games. But yeah, Sarah, anything you want to add to your experience with that panel?
Yeah, that was probably it's one of my big memories of the channel, that particular panel, because whenever I get to talk about the power of story, I feel good because it's such an important thing to me. Just the way that that story and you know TTRPGs in particular can be a very big tool to explore identity. And just how extremely powerful stories are in a human world, because you know people are made of stories. That's what we're made of. Yeah, that's where I am.
I was trying to look up the video you were just talking about because I feel like Mags sounds so familiar, but like I can't tell if I know who you're talking about.
If you happen to watch Game Master Monday's The Tundra, Castaway the Tundra, they played Dennis, who is a bird dad, science teacher, in a Survivor style game show. They are spreading their figurative and literal wings. Literal wings. I can't make that.
They're a bird. They're a bird. It's okay.
Yeah.
We love Mag. So they are branching out and showing up in a lot of places now, which proud teacher, like they have 8 fathers at Streaming Rainbow because every GM has been a parent to them. So proud hell papa of Mags getting out of our community and doing more. But yeah, they've been in quite a lot on our channel as well. So brilliant. If you don't know them, catch them. They're brilliant. And also shout out to Mags because they are the ones who did our logo.
Yeah.
Oh, I
That I
love
love.
that.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
Yeah, that you really want to have Mags in your corner, honestly. Like anybody watching, it's a really special thing.
One of the best hype people you'll ever meet, and also so down to have their feelings hurt in a game.
Oh,
just
yeah.
where they're like, hurt me, please. I love it.
Yeah.
Like we all are. We're all masochists. It's fine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
First, so I was running on another channel, Run Nerds with Dice, for Thanksgiving last year. I ran a session of 10 candles. And when I was letting people know that I was doing that and we were trying to figure out who was going to be in it, Mags came to me and was like, "Yes, please, can I? I'd love to. I want to. I want the pain." And they did a fantastic job. The whole cast on that was great. They did a really great job. And then more recently, relatively speaking, I got to be in a two-parter of Sunken, which is Fathom's game. Fathoms is a system also made by folks involved in the channel, by a couple of founders, actually, and run by one of them, Lux, the founder that we haven't mentioned yet, but who's very much a big part of the channel too. And Mags, I got to play opposite Mags in that just a little bit earlier this year. And then I was actually also in the Evil game that was mentioned, that Mags GM'd, and that was really fun. So I've been able to be castmates and a GM for and GM'd by Mags, and I co-sign all of it. Mags, hear this. We love you. You're awesome.
Yes. Yeah. And they need to hear it.
We know you're watching also. Like, for sure you're watching.
They can't take...
Hi, Mags. Nice to meet you. Come hang out.
The best. Also, I do want to, as brought up, Fathoms, if you want to have an alternative to Call of Cthulhu, because one is too crunchy, and two, what a bad guy. Like, you don't want to support
H.P. Lovecraft. Nah, no,
like
thank
H.P.
you.
Lovecraft, bad person. So we don't like that person.
Most racist.
Fathoms is a system that Lux and David, again, our founder alum, have created to fill that space, and it's a cool. They use a dice pool system. They do such a good job of making that eldritch horror so scary. There's a lot of stuff you can watch on our channel. There's a Fathoms playlist if you just want to be spooked out, and it's so good. I was going to
say that.
So
I recognize Fathoms from looking at the playlist.
Yes, I fully recommend. If you like horror, check out Fathoms, because it's such a fun thing, and I know there are plans in the future to bring it to a wider audience. So
it was great to get to play it. I just, my first time getting to play it was the one I was mentioning, and it was so much fun. Super duper recommend it.
All right, we have been going for quite a while, so I am going to start wrapping us up with our penultimate question, which is gonna get kind of a two-parter, but if there's anything that you wanted to shout out or mention that we did not get to yet, or if you have any personal projects outside of Streaming Rainbow you also want to shout out, take it away.
I have a podcast that is finished, which features many of our founders in the cast. It was called Lantern Cove. People are still downloading it. It's a mystery to me, but it's a teen eldritch horror meets superpowers. It's interesting. It's so good. It's a fun teenage romp with some deadly consequences. So that's what I got to shout out. Lantern Cove, wherever you find your podcasts.
Love it.
It's very good. Can confirm. I am going to be stepping out and doing co-GMing a Cowboy Bebop game that will be able to be found not here, just in the universe later in May, June, and July. with Find Out Productions. We're still finalizing our cast, and so therefore we haven't quite started, but I can at least say that that's going to be coming down the pipeline. So any of you who really enjoyed Cowboy Bebop, any of you anime nerds who love that, there's a game and we're going to be playing it. Everything else is for the channel. I'm going to be working on, because I have a disease where I can't stop GMing stuff, even though Inferno is a 3-year long project. I'm going to be playing another game pre-recorded that is from Acheron, which is Apocalypse, which is the Book of Revelations. So I'll be doing a West Marches style game for that, because I can't just play with a small table. I have to play with 15, 16, 20 people at a time.
That's a small table for you, right? I mean, it's not 40.
It is a small I have a sickness. I just love playing with so many people. But yeah, it's going to be a game set during the end of times, where I have 3 factions that are going to be getting together. And so, like, biblical horror is apparently going to be my life until the end of 2027, and then join the Discord and stick around to see what else comes my way. And now let's all sit back and listen to all the things Danny's doing, because he also has the same disease that I have.
It's too long. I can't say everything. It's too much. It's too many things. I will say, at the time of recording, but not of airing, at the time this airs, it'll be in the past, but you could probably see it on VOD already by then. I am now in the month of April, wherein we are recording this, doing charity things that we alluded to before, I believe. I think we were rolling while we talked about that, for Trans Lifeline, that I am doing through, or in conjunction with, Many Face Plays and Queers and Spears, and they're putting it out on Twitch and YouTube live, respectively, and then they'll have the VODs after the fact. Eli is in one of them. Eli is in Killer Cure, which will have happened back on April 19th when you watch this, but that's our near future.
Yeah, but now I have the scoop.
You do have the scoop. So we're going to be doing that in the evening, Sunday evening. Earlier in the day that day, and actually tomorrow, versus when we're filming this right now, 2 times, I'm going to be running Eat the Reich. So a lot of Rowan, Rook, and Deckard going on, all to benefit Trans Lifeline. Also for an Earth Day charity for the World Wildlife Fund over at Pocket Dragon Pub. I just recently ran Pasión de las Pasiones earlier this week to raise some money. We started the ball rolling pretty well. It was the first of a month of birthday bash games for Vixie. Happy belated now, because this is coming out in May, but happy birthday, Vixie. And I'm going to be running a Daggerheart game at the end of the month for that. I am also, aside from all of our Pride programming, I'm running a game for Pride at Pantsless Tables of
Pantsless Pride.
Yeah, Pantsless Pride of Visigoths versus Molgoths, or Molgoths versus Visigoths. I forget which one goes first in the title. It's going to be a lot of fun. Probably going to be doing something over at Nerds with Dice for Pride as well. And I don't know if I'm going to be doing more charity games like the ones that I just mentioned that are with Charity TTRPGs, because Jess hasn't mentioned what their plans are for June yet, but we'll see. For May, also with the same channels I mentioned before, Many Face Plays and Queers and Spears, I'm going to be running games of Rebel Scum and of Misspent Youth. So 4 sessions in total between the 2 games to raise money for Doctors Without Borders with a focus on Palestinian aid. So going to be doing that. We have a bunch of stuff on our schedule over here. We're not announcing most of it yet, but I will say I have a super lighthearted and definitely not deeply dystopian and dark show that is set currently to premiere on July 14th. That will be experimental in nature, that we're working with the author and publisher of the game system on. So more information to come potentially on that. We have really cool live stream stuff coming from Lux and Cameron, a couple of the founders that we mentioned before, later this year. Lux is co-GMing with a friend of the channel named Teddy, a horror game that alternates between 2 systems. And a little bit further down, we're getting something with a bit of a lighter and chaotic feel from Cam. We have something coming from Bastion later. We've got more coming from Sarah. And Eli has an extra special treat at the end of the year that they haven't mentioned yet that we're really excited about as well. Off the channel, I'm on so many things. Seriously, be too long if I try to say everything.
Just
But
follow us on Blue Sky, get in the
follow.
Discord. You'll
But I'm in
hear
a
about
lot of
it.
casts. I'm in a lot of casts for a lot of things. I do want to shout out that what's going on contemporaneously with this, for sure, is The Secret Ways of Love and Magic over at Pocket Dragon Pub, which is a good society game that I'm in over there. More fundraising stuff, like I mentioned, in other places, including on Nerds with Dice. By the time this is up, I will have done The Valley at Hilarity Saves, which is a great anthology game that has different one-shots, different years in the same location, running kids with bikes, or kids on bikes, which was great. I am in Road to Waterdeep with Creative Disarray, which is a D&D game that is about wrestling, and I play basically mankind. I play Mick Foley, essentially. Bunch of other stuff like that. Follow us, and especially on Blue Skies was mentioned, and you can see us do all sorts of stuff.
Oh yeah, all those links are down below in the description. And let us hit that last question real quick, because I cannot not ask it. I ask every single person who comes onto our community showcase. What is a piece of advice that you would give to someone new to the TTRPG community that you wish had been given to you?
This is true as a player and just as a creator. Never be a lone wolf. It never works out for you.
I love that. I love that.
Because mine was going to start jokey and then go less jokey, but it's the same thing that you were saying, essentially, because mine is get in the Discord. Join us. Come hang out. I'm not just plugging because I'm here to help promote us. I'm also saying real advice, which is this is about community. Like, I professionally, outside of the world of TTRPGs, I've been a professional producer and director of film, television, and commercials for 20 years. I've been a trained actor for 30 years. I am here in the actual play space because I find it artistically compelling. And I find it artistically compelling because there are very few barriers of entry. You can make a lot with a lot of, like, on sweat equity, essentially, right? And it is collaborative creation at the table. I love the specificity of it. I love the use of the systems. But more than anything else, I love being at the table with awesome people like the people here, right? Being able to make things that I wouldn't be able to make myself in interesting and beautiful ways, growing as a person because I get to learn from these people and grow through what they expose me to and how they help me be a better version of myself than I was before. That matters. This is also a typically pretty inclusive and progressive space in my experience. I know there are corners of it that are not like that, but there are a lot of corners that are, right? So it aligns with my politics. I imagine a lot of people watching this, it's going to align with yours too. And this is a way that we can also express those politics. We can make interesting art together without gatekeepers. So get in here, make it with us, right? Go do the thing. Don't just sit there thinking about the thing. It's never going to be perfect. Just get here. We'll help you. You'll help us. It'll be beautiful.
We have do the thing. We have don't do the thing alone. Sarah.
There's a story in your heart, at least one, and I want you to tell it because there is an audience out there for you. Maybe it's just 10 weirdos, but those are your 10 weirdos. And it's going to mean everything to you when you put it out there.
Damn. That one hit me.
This is why she's Galadriel.
Yes.
Sniper over there.
Hit me so hard. This has been an absolutely fantastic interview. We did run a little long, but so many good things were said, and I cannot thank you enough for joining us. Everybody needs to be sure to check out the description below where we have all the links to follow them, to go check out the channel. And I shall bid you adieu. Good night, everyone.
Night.